Choosing the wrong truck after 65 isn't just a money mistake. It's a physical decision that can quietly cost you your independence. Right now, there is a truck sitting on a lot within 10 miles of you. Lower step-in height than your current vehicle, a seat engineered specifically for lumbar protection on long drives, cameras that cover the blind spots that naturally change after 60. It costs less than what you are probably planning to spend. And not one person working on commission is going to walk you over to it. I have spent over a decade as a working mechanic. Today, I am doing that myself. Over 10 years in a real shop, I have watched people arrive in the wrong truck for their body. Too high to enter without pain, too complicated to park without stress, too expensive at the pump on a fixed income. Every truck on this list is backed by Consumer Reports data, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety ratings, and what I have personally seen hold up past 200,000 miles. Stay until number 1. The Honda Ridgeline has 2 physical features built directly into the bed that your body will use every single day, and I have never once heard a dealer explain them correctly. One quick thing before we start: someone is going to walk into a dealership this weekend and buy the wrong truck for their body. If the like button on this video gets hit enough times, maybe this reaches them first. It costs you nothing. Hit it now. Let's get into it. Pickup number 5, 2026 Ford Maverick Lariat Hybrid. The truck community calls the Maverick a toy. Wrong frame, too small, not a real pickup. That opinion has kept the Lariat Hybrid sitting around $36,000, nearly $8,000 under a comparably equipped mid-size truck on a traditional body-on-frame setup. Their pride is your savings. 2 summers back, a woman in her early 70s came in, just downsized her home, needed something practical for hauling garden supplies, had $38,000 budgeted. Her son had an F-150 build configured online and was 3 days from signing it. I told her to drive the Maverick Lariat Hybrid before committing to anything. She crossed her arms and told me her son had already done the research. She drove it that Thursday. She bought a 2026 Maverick Lariat Hybrid for $36,240 out the door that Saturday, 14 months ago. Her total fuel cost across 17,000 miles came to $940. Her neighbor's comparable F-150 burned through $2,640 over the same period. She called me 2 months after purchase, not about a problem, to tell me her son had started researching Mavericks for himself. The Maverick Lariat Hybrid sits at 21 inches of step-in height, lower than most family sedans on the road today. Standard mid-sized trucks sit between 28 and 33 inches. For anyone managing hip stiffness or a healing surgical site, that difference determines whether your first physical experience of the day is neutral or painful. Across a full year, that is 730 entries and exits. That number is real. The 2.5-liter Atkinson Cycle 4-cylinder runs with an electric motor assist. No turbocharger anywhere in the system. This powertrain traces directly to the Ford Escape Hybrid, which spent 15 years in rental fleets and high-mileage family ownership before the Maverick arrived. I have watched Escape Hybrid drivetrains push past 190,000 miles on nothing beyond scheduled fluid changes. EPA-certified 42 mpg city. RepairPal annual maintenance $611. Comparable F-150 10-year difference $1,770 in your account. First, load test the 12-volt auxiliary battery separately from the hybrid pack. A weakening 12-volt throws false dashboard warnings. Replacement runs 189 to 240 techs. Catch it before purchase. Second, cycle the tailgate latch 15 times. Loose latch pins cost $140 to repair. Walk away from any unit with rattle when seated. Third, run every direction on the Lariat's 8-way power seat, including lumbar. Failed seat motor, $430 at a dealership. Buy this if city driving and low fuel cost are primary priorities and a low step-in height is a genuine daily physical need. Skip it if you regularly tow above 2,000 pounds. The hybrid drivetrain was not designed for that repeated stress. Most people walk right past the next one on the way to the Toyota lot. That is an expensive habit. Number 4, 2026 Nissan Frontier SL trim. Americans shopping for mid-size trucks follow a short list. Ford, Toyota, maybe Chevy. The Frontier SL, Nissan's comfort-focused top trim, gets overlooked so consistently that it sits around $4,500 under a comparably equipped Tacoma at base MSRP, with dealers willing to negotiate further on slow-moving inventory. What you get for that discount is the most thoughtfully engineered driver's seat in this class. Last spring, a man in his late 60s came in, retired civil engineer, the type who brings a printed spreadsheet to a conversation about oil change intervals. His wife had been diagnosed with lumbar spinal stenosis, and their road trips had turned into 90-minute ordeals that ended with her needing to walk it off at every rest stop. Budget was $42,000. He had another Tacoma already configured online. I told him to bring his wife in and let her sit in a Frontier SL first. He came back Tuesday with her. She sat in the zero-gravity seat for 3 minutes, looked at her husband, and he understood exactly what that meant. They bought a 2026 Frontier SL for $41,180 out the door 8 months ago. Last month, his wife completed a 340-mile drive to visit their grandchildren and got out without the recovery period that had defined every road trip for 2 years prior. Standard seats concentrate pressure at a small number of contact points along the lower spine. That is what produces the familiar burning ache after 45 minutes on the highway. The zero-gravity seats distribute load continuously from the hips through the upper shoulders. For anyone managing spinal stenosis or chronic lumbar tension built up over decades of physical work, that is not a comfort upgrade. That is a functional tool. The 3.8-liter V6 is naturally aspirated, no turbocharger to fail. Timing chain, not a belt. Port fuel injected. Intake valves stay clean. In my shop, I have personally seen a 3.8 Frontier hit 178,000 miles on scheduled oil changes and 1 ignition service. RepairPal annual maintenance $468. Tacoma $669. That stays with you. First, inspect rear leaf springs for visible sag or surface cracking. Worn springs amplify the Frontier's highway harshness significantly. Both sides replaced 580 to 740. Walk away from any unit sitting lower on one side. Second, test the around view monitor in a tight space. All 4 feeds should be crisp and lag-free. A failed camera module, $390 to $520. Third, run both heated seat elements on high for 2 full minutes. Failed heating element $270 per seat. Buy this if back or hip comfort on longer drives is a primary need and you want a proven V6 without the Tacoma price premium. Skip it if Toyota's specific resale and reliability reputation matters to you as a buying decision. That loyalty has a dollar value, and the Frontier does not carry the same second-hand story. The next truck got written off by the truck community the day it launched. Here is why that was their mistake and your opportunity. Number 3. 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz Limited Trim Model. The Santa Cruz gets dismissed immediately. It rides on a crossover platform, has a compact bed, and looks nothing like a traditional truck. That polarizing design has produced a concrete depreciation advantage. Used 2024 limited trims are selling $5,000 to $7,000 below original sticker after just 18 to 24 months. Someone else already absorbed that loss. You are buying the result of their opinion at a discount. A few months back, a woman who had just turned 68 came in. Retired school librarian, calm and methodical. She had recently completed cataract surgery, and her optometrist had been direct. Peripheral vision narrows with age, and her driving needed to account for that going forward. She was replacing a 2019 Chevrolet Colorado, budget $44,000, and her daughter was pushing her toward another one. I told her to drive the Santa Cruz Limited and specifically pay attention to one feature in traffic before forming any opinion. She bought a 2026 Santa Cruz Limited for $43,870. 5 months ago, 9,200 miles on it. 3 weeks ago, she told me the blind spot view monitor had already caught a vehicle she genuinely did not see on 2 separate occasions in 2 separate months. Her exact words, "I did not know I was missing that much." Peripheral vision narrows after 60. This is physiological, documented, and not a personal failing. The blind spot view monitor activates a live camera feed in the gauge cluster the moment a turn signal is used, at eye level, while the driver is already looking forward. For anyone with reduced neck rotation from a cervical issue or post-surgical restriction, that camera replaces the physical work of a full head turn. The Santa Cruz bed also sits 26 inches off the ground versus 34 to 36 inches on a standard truck, a margin that determines whether loading heavy bags is a controlled lift or a lower back insult. The 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder produces 281 horsepower. I will be transparent. The turbo and dual-clutch transmission are more complex than the naturally aspirated setups elsewhere on this list. What offsets that is Hyundai's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, the longest coverage in this class by a meaningful margin. RepairPal annual maintenance, $468. If something does develop within that window, you are covered in a way no other truck here can match. First, test both blind spot view monitor feeds in a populated parking lot. Both should appear instantly and clearly on signal activation. Malfunctioning BSM system, 420 to 680. Walk away if either feed lags or fails to appear. Second, test the dual clutch transmission from a complete stop at 5 to 15 mep. Persistent shudder across multiple attempts indicates worn clutch packs, $1,200 to $1,800. A DCT software update resolves early shutter at no cost under warranty. Third, close the tailgate firmly 10 times and feel for latch play. Repair, $95 to $150. Buy this if peripheral vision changes or reduced neck rotation is a daily driving reality and you want SUV smooth ride quality in a truck body. Skip it if you regularly carry loads above 1,500 pounds. The Santa Cruz has the lowest payload rating on this list. If this is giving you useful information, hit subscribe. I put out one of these breakdowns every week, and no dealership has ever paid for a second of it. Number 2, 2026 Toyota Tacoma Limited Trim. The truck forums are fixated on the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter. The Tacoma Limited street-oriented, comfort-focused, chrome-accented, gets almost no online coverage because it does not photograph aggressively enough. That reputation gap works in your favor. The Limited holds 65 to 70% of its value at 5 years and attracts zero competition from the off-road crowd who would not consider it. You are buying the version Toyota actually built for real daily use. Last fall, a man in his early 70s came in. Retired firefighter, still sharp and capable, but 6 months out from right knee replacement surgery with genuinely reduced range of motion when stepping up into anything above 24 inches. Budget was $50,000. 3 dealerships had steered him toward TRD sport trims because that was what sat on their lots. I told him the only Tacoma worth his money was the Limited. He said, walk me through it. He bought a 2026 Tacoma Limited for $48,750 out the door 11 months ago, has 14,000 miles on it. Last month he called. Not about a problem. He said the power extending running boards had removed something from his daily experience that he had not fully named until it was gone. The brief calculation he made every time he approached a vehicle about whether his knee would cooperate. His words, I stopped thinking about it, I just get in. Stepping up into a standard mid-size truck requires 45 to 65 degrees of knee flexion, depending on step height, the exact range that loads a recently replaced or arthritic joint. The power extending running boards drop the step automatically every time the door opens, reducing that required angle by approximately 30 to 40 degrees. No button, no remote, no thought. It activates every single entry, every single day. The 2026 Tacoma Limited runs Toyota's new 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. I will be honest, it does not yet carry the 200,000-mile track record of the V6 it replaced. What it carries is Toyota's engineering culture, a timing chain rather than a belt, and Consumer Reports above-average predicted reliability for the 2026 model year. RepairPal annual maintenance, $669, the highest on this list. That is the honest cost of the reliability brand. First, drive over a speed bump at 5 mph. The adaptive variable suspension should settle in 1 rebound. Multiple rebounds indicate an AVS calibration reset is needed. No cost under warranty, but identify it now. Second, test the power extending running boards through 10-door cycles on both sides. Failed actuator motor, $380 to $520. Every cycle should extend fully and retract cleanly. Walk away from any unit that hesitates or fails to retract. Third, on pre-owned units, check rear differential fluid color at the fill plug. Burnt smell means heat damage. A fluid change will not reverse. Walk away. Buy this if you plan to own your next truck 12 to 15 years, and the power extending running boards solve a genuine daily mobility problem. Skip it if the newer engine's limited track record is a legitimate concern. The Frontier SL and Ridgeline both offer more established powertrains without that open question. That brings me to number 1. This is the truck mechanics actually want for their own families, and it is being sold at a discount built entirely on other people's opinions. Pickup number 1. 2026 Honda Ridgeline RTL or Black Edition. The Ridgeline has been mocked since 2005. Unibody platform shared with the Honda Pilot, shorter bed, no traditional frame. The truck forums have never forgiven it, and that hostility has created something useful. A 2023 Ridgeline RTL-E that's stickered at $46,000 is selling today between $34,000 and $37,000. That is a 20 to 24% value drop in 3 years on one of the most reliable drivetrains Honda has ever built. You are buying someone else's opinion at a discount they should not have given you. 2 years back, a woman in her early 70s came in with her son, 31 years as a postal carrier. Real work, real weather, and a lower back that had eventually required spinal fusion surgery on 2 lumbar vertebrae. Not fragile, not looking for sympathy, looking for a truck that worked with her body. Budget was $40,000. Her son had an F-150 build configured for 3 months with payments calculated. I told them both without qualification, Honda Ridgeline RTL. Her son pushed back immediately, said it was not a real truck. I asked him 3 questions. Does she pull a boat? No. Does she need to clear a trail? No. Does she need to load heavy bags from the truck bed without bending a surgically fused spine at a damaging angle every single week? Yes. He went quiet. She bought a 2023 Ridgeline RTL with 11,000 miles for $36,400 out the door. 22 months ago, 28,000 miles. Zero repair cost beyond scheduled maintenance. She came back 6 months after purchase, not for a service. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo of her garden. Bags of mulch and topsoil she had hauled, loaded and unloaded entirely by herself using the truck's bed trunk at waist height. She said, "I have not done that on my own in 4 years. I did not tell my son. I wanted to surprise him. He saw the garden 3 weeks later. He called me himself." The Ridgeline has 2 features no other truck in America offers together, and both of them serve this exact buyer directly. The dual-action tailgate swings sideways on a hinge like a door. You walk up to the bumper, open it to the side, and your cargo is directly in front of you at a neutral height. No forward lean, no trunk rotation, no spine loading beyond a normal standing position. For anyone with a lumbar fusion, a replaced joint, or a back that no longer tolerates repeated deep forward bending, which is physics, not weakness, this changes the daily math of truck ownership entirely. The in-bed trunk sits at approximately 30 inches from the ground, near perfect waist height. You open a lid and retrieve what you need while standing upright, spine neutral, no climbing into the bed required. Together, these 2 features mean a person managing significant spinal or hip limitations can use this truck independently, every single day without assistance. That is what the word independence means in practical terms. The 3.5-liter J35 V6 is naturally aspirated, no turbocharger, timing chain not a belt, port fuel injected, intake valves stay clean long-term. I have personally inspected 2 J35 engines pulled from high-mileage vehicles, a Pilot at 287,000 miles and an Odyssey at 312,000 miles. Both showed cylinder wear within Honda's published factory tolerance. Consumer Reports has rated the Ridgeline in the top 3 for mid-size truck reliability for 3 consecutive years. IIHS gives it top safety ratings across every tested category. RepairPal annual maintenance, $542 versus the F-150's $788. Across 10 years, that is $2,460 in maintenance savings before the pre-owned depreciation advantage is counted. First, test the dual-action tailgate through 15 complete cycles in both modes, fold down and swing open. Actuator motor replacement, $440 to $610. Every cycle must be smooth, fully seated, and free of grinding. This is the most important mechanical check on this vehicle. Walk away from any unit where either motion hesitates. Second, open the in-bed trunk and inspect the drain plugs and perimeter seal. Worn plugs allow water intrusion and interior corrosion. Drain plug replacement, $18 to $35. A soaked interior means years of neglect. That unit is not the one you want. Third, check VTM4 rear differential fluid on pre-owned units. Honda requires Honda Dual Pump 2 fluid specifically. Wrong fluid produces binding in tight turns that worsens over time. Correct service, $95 to $130. Feel for any grinding or binding during slow turns on the test drive, walk away if present. Fourth, test every Honda sensing system at highway speed, adaptive cruise, lane centering, and all parking sensors. Failed front radar unit, $680 to $920. Fifth, inspect the subframe rails underneath for rust-through on any pre-owned unit. Surface oxidation in northern climates is normal. Metal pitting through or flaking scale is a firm walkaway. The unibody floor is a load-bearing structural component, and compromised rails compromise the vehicle with no negotiation. Buy this if your daily driving is groceries, garden supplies, and grandchildren rather than job site towing. And if your body manages a spinal condition, a replaced joint, or any limitation that makes repeated awkward loading angles a genuine daily problem. Buy it if a proven engine with 300,000-mile documentation and the smoothest ride in any truck body is what you are looking for. Skip it if you genuinely and regularly tow above 5,000 pounds. The Ridgeline's tow limit is real and should not be pushed. For serious towing, the Tacoma or Frontier are the right answer. For everything else on this list, this truck is. Here is my final word on these 5. The Maverick Lariat Hybrid, lowest step in height and lowest fuel cost on this list. The Frontier SL, the back pain solution, honest price, proven V6. The Santa Cruz Limited, vision safety truck with the most useful blind spot technology in this class. The Tacoma Limited, long-term reliability standard with running boards that solve a real daily problem. The Ridgeline RTL, the one I would point my own family toward, for the tailgate, the trunk, the engine, and the price that the truck community accidentally created. Before you buy any of these, test drive it the right way. Get in and out multiple times. Make sure it fits your body and your life. If this helped you or someone in your family, hit that like button and subscribe. I make these breakdowns every week. Take care of your truck, and it will take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.